I just want to tell you how I'm feeling. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, and non-gender conforming individuals. Welcome to tonight's episode of Clickbaity Political Thirsttrap. Real life happens. And this week has been a busy week for all of us, so I'm rocking with you by myself tonight. And I actually had to catch up on things to make sure that I showed up tonight just for you. Our dear brother Mondale is, he's doing some work right now, as he always does. And believe it or not, since we do the morning trap and we do Clickbaity Political Thirst Trap at nighttime, that becomes a little stressful because we give you guys a lot of content every single day. So we have to pick and choose our days that we rock and roll with you guys. And tonight was one where Mondale needed a day off to handle some personal business. So, I'm here. Ben Dixon, his throat is messed up tonight. So he's not gonna be able to join us either. But I'm here, and I hope you guys enjoy my lovely face. Being 1/3 of Clickbaity Political Thirst Trap, 1/5 of the Morning Trap, and one of Marcus Farrell, all the way live from Atlanta, Georgia, the city that brought you the Braves, which I think they're about to turn the Braves. They should contemplate turning the Braves into the Hammers because Hank Aaron died. And I'm still never really about using indigenous American symbolism for including my own favorite college, second favorite college, Florida State University. FAMU was my first favorite college, but Florida State uses the Seminoles, and I know they work with the Seminole tribe, but it's still always a little awkward. Like, mascot, really? So the Braves, which is a private, literally doesn't educate anybody. There's some conversations around Atlanta right now about turning them into the Hammers or the Hammer or something like that because of the death of their greatest player, Hank Aaron. So it's good to see y'all too, man. It is. Hey, it's good to see y'all too. What's up, Stu? Hey, Stu White. Y'all know where I got the word mean grumpy for? He's in your chat right now. This guy right here, Stu White. I don't know if his picture showed up, but Stu is the person who invented mean grumpy. That guy right there. I love that guy right there. That guy was a part of my wedding. That guy was with me in my first and second duty station in the military, and he's a very close and personal friend. So say what's up, Stu White. I hope you comment a little bit more tonight, and I appreciate you joining us. That's my guy right there, Navy veteran. Give him his props. He fought hard for this country, fam. So anyway, Atlanta Braves, consider changing your name to the Atlanta Hammers in honor of Henry Aaron. Hammer and Hank, as they said. And we got a couple things to get into tonight. I hope y'all like today's morning trap. If you didn't, go back and watch it. I hope you like last night's episode. And I do plan on bringing Darren back in with us sometime soon. Darren Smith is down there in Tampa right now with the Super Bowl, and he's a former stripper. Let me not get this guy canceled. Let me not get this guy canceled at all. But yes, that's right. Dr. Claw. That's right, Dr. Claw. Stuart White is the creator of the word mean grumpy, and I just took it from him. So Stu, I hope you don't mind, bro, but you can call me anytime. You got my phone number. Ain't accountability beautiful? Isn't it a beautiful thing? Accountability, even in the minor sense of things, right, is a beautiful thing. Sometimes you get instant accountability. For instance, your mother says to you, hey, when the eye is red on the stove, don't put your hand on it. And your dumbass 6-year-old, 5-year-old, 4-year-old behind says, you know what? That looks like candy. That looks like fun. And you stick your hand on it. Accountability happens instantaneously in moments like that. In comparison to American politics, American politics has a visceral reaction to accountability for problematic white politicians. Not all problematic white politicians, because if you're fighting for truth and justice in the American way, not the American way, but the righteous way, you get held accountable for every single thing that you do, i.e. Bernie Sanders 2015, everything that he said, some things that were, anything he said that was problematic, got blasted at a higher level than other politicians who literally, help Wall Street steal funds from America. They didn't get held accountable. And I really, really thought that this woman, Marjorie Taylor Greene, was going to get away with everything that she gets away with. I thought she was going to get away with being able to say the words that she said, because it was just so normalized. It was just so normalized for white politicians who are problematic, especially conservative. The more conservative you are, the more outlandish things that you can say. But not tonight, Trap Squad. Not tonight, Squirrel Gang. Tonight, Marjorie Taylor Greene had one little moment, one little iota of accountability. And the thing is this right here. When you are a elected official and you're a Republican, you probably haven't been held accountable for many things in your life. And I am certain that Marjorie Taylor Greene, because she has confidence, when she walked up to the kid from the shooting, the Sandy Hook shooting, when she walked up to that kid, her confidence level was at one that you could possibly just like smell from 50 miles away. I have an issue walking up to that kid just because he's been traumatized by seeing a shooting. But she walked up to him and she questioned this kid about the most unnecessary, outlandish things about guns, and then tried to make a thing out of it. But more important than that, she has threatened people. The House voted on Thursday evening to remove Republican Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene from her committee assignments, a decisive step that comes in the wake of recently unearthed incendiary and violent past comments from the Congresswoman that have triggered widespread backlash from Democrats and divided congressional Republicans. This is via CNN. I know I read CNN every now and then. You got to get some of the news, but they do a good job with some of their print reporting. The vote tally was 230 to 199, with 11 Republican House members voting with Democrats to remove her from committee assignments. House Democrats, who control the chamber seat, set up the vote after first attempting to pressure Republicans to strip the Georgia Republicans of committee assignments on their own. The motherfuckers ain't ever gonna do anything on their own. Are you serious? I didn't even realize that was like one of the tactical things that they like. No, Democrats, we need to pressure these people off top just because that's our job. That's what the black people voted for you for, to hold folks accountable. House Republicans did not take that action. However, House GOP leader Kevin McCarthy on Wednesday released a statement calling the push by Democrats to take away the Congresswoman committee assignments a partisan power grab. You know what a partisan power grab was? Denying Barack Obama his SCOTUS pick. You know what a partisan power grab was? When the Republicans decided to, I mean, there's so many times, but when the Republicans decided to dismiss the filibuster, to do what they had to do to get another Supreme Court nominee on the seat. And the irony is that you didn't hear Joe Manchin or Kirsten Sinema say a word about that then. But now they don't want to move in the direction that America wants these folks to move. Now, here's the thing. Here's a very big difference that I want to bring up tonight, because I think this is an important thing. When Black people and brown people and indigenous people and LGBTQIA people and poor people and disabled people and the disability community people, when they get held accountable, they immediately lose whole ass jobs. You can't work here anymore. But when a white Republican woman gets held accountable, she still gets to remain a congresswoman. Now, I understand there's procedural things that happen. I get it. I get that. There's a lot of policy and procedures that has to happen to impeach or remove a sitting congressperson. But if you said all that and y'all went ahead and took away all of her committee positions, just go ahead and get rid of her, because she's effectively null and void. She can't do anything anymore. But you don't want to go that far. Why? Because that's way too much accountability. Hey, cousin Gerald. That's way too much accountability. So we are living in a time. First, let me stop, because I wish I had the applause button, because Marjorie Taylor Greene it's one of the first times in American history that a white Republican person has gotten held responsible for anything that they've done in the history of government. I'm talking about the white Republicans, like post 1950, 1960, before everybody switched over, because I'm pretty sure pro-Black Republicans who were white in the 40s and 30s and 20s that we have never heard about got held accountable for trying to let Black people vote, but that's neither here nor there. So, cheers. Let's give a round of applause to 1 second of accountability. Here's the problem with that right there, though. I don't want to celebrate too far. I don't want to go too hard. I don't want to make this a big thing yet. And the reason why I don't want to make this a big thing yet, or go too hard, or make this whole thing beautiful, is because there are a whole bunch of insurrectionists, traitors who are insurrectionists, who are disrespectful to the flag, traitors who are insurrectionists who are disrespectful to the flag, who for the most part are on the run right now. And that same level of accountability probably won't happen to them. Those thousands of people who showed up to the Capitol on January 6th, I hope Marjorie Taylor Greene getting removed from her committee positions doesn't give the American government, the elected officials, the wherewithal to say, okay, now we've punished one person. That's our symbolism. We don't want symbolism. We want all of these people put in jail. So we got to watch out for that. Don't you hate the bipartisan talk also? I know I do. I hate the bipartisan talk, because Republicans are literally never bipartisan about anything. The only thing American government has been very bipartisan about in general consistently is making sure Wall Street is straight. If you have a problem with bipartisanship, drop a squirrel in the chat wherever you're watching this. If you just, because I don't want to feel alone in this one right here, because I see the hypocrisy in the whole bipartisan conversations that we are having right now that Joe Biden honestly shouldn't have. Black people in Georgia did not vote for Joe Biden so he could go and work with Republicans. Not the same Republicans that want to restrict voting rights so we can't vote. Not the same Republicans that never want to hold a cop accountable when a Black person gets shot. Not the same Republicans that blindly turn an eye when the wealthiest people in America get a tax break while we get taxed at higher rates than the billionaires do. No. That's not why we put Joe Biden in the office. And I want everybody to remember something. We put Joe Biden in the office, not Republicans. We have a majority in the House. We have a majority in the Senate, whether that's a fledgling majority or a big, old, huge majority. We have a majority. Do something. See, I'm a big fan of Deion Sanders. Prime time. I told you I'm a big Florida State fan. Y'all know who Deion Sanders is? Deion Sanders is possibly one of the greatest athletes to ever live. And he also was definitely the best cornerback to ever play the sports ball game. Cornerback is the position where they go up against the person that the quarterback is throwing the sports ball to and stop the sports ball from going up the field. And the person who's catching the sports ball, he has to tackle the person with the sports ball or intercept it and make another sports ball touchdown. That's a cornerback for you non-sports ball fans. But I'm a fan of Deion Sanders. And the reason why I'm a fan of Deion Sanders is because Deion knew he was good. And Deion says it all the time to this day. I know his son. Also, his son's pretty cool too. Deion says, if you look good, you feel good. And if you feel good, you play good. Now, if you have a Democratic House, a Democratic Senate, and a Democrat for the president, you look really, really good. Therefore, you should feel really, really good. But we're not playing good. When you gain an advantage in Congress, you don't automatically have to subscribe to white supremacy again. Joe Biden in his inaugural speech said the word white supremacy, and I brought it up on this show before. Joe Biden said the word white supremacy in his inaugural speech, the first major speech to America. He said white supremacy is a problem. White supremacy is a problem. Well, if white supremacy is a problem, then shouldn't you do everything in your power to make sure that white supremacy is never a problem again? They put the former governor of Michigan under charges for basically ignoring the plight of Flint folks, black and white folks who were suffering from lead poisoning. Small amount of accountability, but an agency actually said we have to hold somebody accountable for these things. So the agency that I'm now looking at is the Democratic Party. Do me a favor. I'm going to say this right here. It was a big win for accountability for Marjorie Taylor Greene today to get removed from her committee seats. But that was a low bar. How about y'all let Marjorie Taylor Greene stay in office? How about this? Y'all let Marjorie Taylor Greene just stay there. Keep her ass there. Fuck it. Let her bring a gun in. I don't give as long as the sisters and brothers have a gun. Well, let me stop. Let me not say that. Don't let her bring her gun in. I didn't mean to say that, internet. But let her just stay there. Let her do her thing. And arrest the cops that killed Breonna Taylor. And arrest the white folks and the people, all the people, any color, that ran up in the Capitol and made us look like fools on the international stage on the 6th. That's what I call American accountability. That's how you strike a blow with white supremacy. Could care less about Marjorie Taylor Greene losing a committee. Y'all follow me on this. If we have leadership, if we control the House and we have more members in the House, then who gives a damn if she's in leadership? Let her get up and grandstand all she wants to. Fuck her. Fuck her. Torches and pitchforks. Wody Bobo. That's WHODIE. BOBO. He has his own Instagram account now. So y'all can go follow Wody Bobo and stop asking me questions. And stop asking me questions online. Isaac, I can't talk to you right now. So look, man, like we just got to keep it honest about how we deal with white supremacy, and we don't deal with white supremacy with a feather. We deal with white supremacy with a hammer, like MC. We deal with white supremacy like with all the powers that can possibly go. And when you deal with the Joe Manchins of the world, and you deal with the Kirsten Cinemas of the world, who are, dinos, Democrats in name only, we need states and people in states to primary all these motherfuckers. Matter of fact, fuck it. If we do a 50-state strategy and actually do organizing in places like Mississippi and get all those black folks who have the lowest turnout rate in America to go and vote, fuck Joe Manchin if we can get 2 black senators or 2 Democratic senators in Mississippi. If we go galvanize people in Alabama, and if we primary Joe Manchin and a progressive person actually wins, what does that mean? That means that they're going to go into a general election against a Republican who probably is going to win, but on the same token, it'll be the first time that progressive values get brought to the state of West Virginia in a major way, creating an environment that folks can grow off of, learn about, and maybe in a couple of years we can actually challenge this seat. Y'all don't hear what I'm saying. It's about strategy. It's about game planning. It's about actually putting messages out to people and letting them resonate for a second. Bernie Sanders did extremely well in West Virginia. So that means the first time that a progressive messaging was put out in West Virginia, it was accepted. Infinite Content says, I'm gonna put this on Front Street real quick. Infinite Content says, hey, Clickbaity political thirst trap. Black Voters Matter asked me if I want to run for local office in 2021. Am I too problematic for public office? Nigga, we voted for Donald Trump. He was the president. Ain't nothing you could have possibly did unless you touching babies. There's nothing that you could do that makes you too problematic to run for office. All of y'all ran for office. I ran for office. I didn't win, but I had a good time stopping the one person that I really didn't want to go in, see in office, not win. Run for office. Do not be afraid to run for office. Infinite, you're a smart brother, man. And you literally have infinite content. If you can't create a platform, then something's wrong with you. That's right, Paula Jean. Paula Jean, I want to give a shout out to Paula Jean Sweargen in West Virginia. She's a progressive. I noticed that the DNC really hasn't done much for her campaigns, but she's a progressive. She's a good woman too. Good woman too. So, I'm going on about this accountability thing because I'm afraid that whiteness and toxic whiteness and white supremacy, it is stopping Democrats from doing the right thing. I'm from the same district as Kirsten Sinema. I'm not from there, but I ran for her former seat. I didn't win, but pretty, some progressive people won that chair. And to be honest with you, that district is becoming more and more progressive. When we act like we can't primary people because they have coffers in their bank account, they have endorsements in their email list, but they don't have the heart of the people. Man, I need people. I need the Latinx community in Arizona to step the fuck up. I know y'all have been slowly, and I love y'all, but I just need them to like one time, just like show their electoral prowess. That's what needs to happen in Arizona, because Kirsten Sinema. Let me tell you how they did my Latinx brother who ran for governor by the name of David Garcia. David Garcia was the most progressive, endorsed by Bernie Sanders, gubernatorial candidate that beat a moderate Democrat in the primary, because all the Latinx folks and all the progressive people in the state of Arizona showed up. When I tell you he got absolutely zero support from the establishment in Arizona when he ran for governor in 2018, it was sad. And it showed me that we want certain types of Democrats to be elected. The ones that want to lean Republican. At least Ossoff and Warnock got this vote right. That's right, Ryan. You know what you're talking about. Look at Anna. Danny T, we're going to talk about that real quick. What y'all think about this one right here? Danny T, because Danny T's right. Danny T says, I'm Latino and I cringe when people say Latinx. The problem is, I'm gonna keep it 1,000. I said Latino. I used to say Latino all the time. And then I got cussed out by this girl who was like, we're Latinx. So I asked a couple of my Mexican friends in Arizona, what do I say? And they all said the same thing. We don't give a damn. Just don't call us nigga. So should we call our Spanish descendant brothers and sisters, especially, and we also got to be very aware that there's some Latinx folks that are black, right? They're black people, man. You can't tell me. I lived in Puerto Rico for 3 years. You can't tell me that Puerto Ricans ain't black. They just speak Spanish, but they are black. So I'm always interested in that. Maybe before the show's over, we can talk about that one right there. You know what I mean? That's right. The bill, the Dominicanos, Puerto Ricans, man, they, them brothers and sisters look black. So I want to kind of get an official question, a question answered about Latinx and Latino, Latinx versus Latino, and then here's another question: who makes that decision? Who makes that decision? Because I can't front. And this is just me. This is not the black diaspora, so don't go canceling Marcus for saying this. But I done got called Negro. I done got called black. I done got called African American. I don't care. Just don't be a white person to call me nigga. I don't care. If you call me Negro, I personally don't care, because there's people who before me who called me Negro. But also I understand what people say about the usage of the word term Negro in the 50s and 60s to sort of degrade us. You call me black. Look at this bright yellow skin right here, man. I'm not black. Well, it was black. Turn off your computer screen. That's black. Turn off your television. That's black. And African American. Well, that's legit. I can be African American. My descendants were from Africa, and I'm American, right? We put a lot into titles. We put a whole lot into titles. And my main thing about titles is don't be disrespectful, right? I think that's the answer to everything. Don't be disrespectful. So if you hear me use the term Latinx or Latino, don't take that one personally. Oh, I do get offended by one. Thank you, Nabil. I do get offended by one. There's one thing that I get offended by in the game. Person of color. Don't call me a person of color. I'm not a person of color. I'm black. I'm African American. I ain't no damn person of color. Person of color is a white thing that try to group every single one of us into one thing and then say, you're not white, you're a person of color. That's like me running around America calling myself other. And damn it, I ain't other. You could say BLPOC. I'll take that because you acknowledge my blackness, but there's a lot of differences between cultures, man. There's a lot of differences between favoritisms that white people have for people of color. We can get into it. I'm not going to do that tonight, but there's some factual statements about the preferred minority, even though y'all even treat your own preferred minorities like shit. So, I'm not a POC. This is a lesson for everybody watching. Don't call black people POC. Use BL, the Black Latino person of color, or just POC and black people. Because I'm not a person of color. Yes, my skin is more colorful than Caucasians, but I'm not a person of color. That identify that group of me in with everybody else is a goddamn problem. If you don't stop doing that, it's tall. That's what I hate. I hate POC. I do. I can't front. I'm not gonna get mad at you. I might inbox you and be like, yeah, POC, because I understand. I get you, right? Shit, you might as well go ahead and say non-white. But it's Black History Month. Day 4. 6 days away from my birthday. I want everybody to take a Marcus holiday next Wednesday. If y'all skipped y'all homework assignment for my birthday, what y'all need to do is give me one person from Black history, at least one person from Black history on my birthday. Flood my inbox, flood my Twitter page. Just come at me with all of it. Like, I want to hear it. I want to hear it. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right, Tariq. And some of us just prefer to be called African. Well done, Tariq. You can be African. Matter of fact, I tell you what, this might be shame. I might be a little shameless. You can damn near call me whatever you want if you give us reparations. If you give us equity and reparations, I'm not offended anymore. Just give my people reparations. Let us be free, economically free. Be able to afford that gentrified house. Buy our neighborhoods back from all the folks who are shopping at the co-op, and not the black-owned co-op, but you know that co-op down the street that everything smells like onions. That co-op. That's right. I wanted to go through this real quick, and I'm gonna ask a question, and I'm gonna go through this real quick because I'm gonna switch topics real quick, and then I'm gonna take a little break, and I'm gonna come back. We always do this with hip hop. Like, for instance, I'm going to rank my top 5 rappers. And I know y'all already seen me do this, but I'm going to do it again. I'm going to rank my top 5 rappers. And if I leave somebody out, get ready for a bridged version. Get ready for a different version. I'm going to add on some people later on as I see them. My top 5 rappers are, and I'm doing this because I'm going to move on to another top 5. But my top 5 rappers of all time, and I'm going to put 2 of them in one as one slot. That's Biggie Pac. And I'm going to just say Biggie Pac, right? That should be a rap name, Biggie Pac. I'm going to put those 2 in at one because you can never really, if you're in the hood, you really are never, ever, ever going to win that argument with anybody, but they deserve to be on the top 5 list. That's number 5. Number 4, I got to give that one to Eminem. Black folks like the front. Hip hop heads like the front, but Eminem changed the game. Is what it is. My number 3 is Scarface. That's right. Diary of a Madman is one of the best albums ever made, and you can listen to it from beginning to end. And any song that made it on Office Space soundtrack is dope. Number 2. Number 2. So maybe not in this order, but number 2, I got to put him on the list. We gotta talk about Kendrick, man. We gotta talk about Kendrick. I know his body of work is actually his body of work is growing. Like, yeah, Kendrick just comes with it, right? So Kendrick is up there. And then 3 Stacks. So some of y'all gonna argue with me. He should be in the top group, right? And I go back and forth between the top 2 groups of rap groups of all time. That's Wu-Tang and Outkast, to me personally. Followed closely by NWA and EPMD, and then Public Enemy. But that's my top 5 rappers right now. It might change. It changes on a daily basis. So now that I got y'all thinking about top five, y'all remember that movie Serendipity with John Cusack? John Cusack played a bad guy in something that I watched recently. What was that? He played a bad guy in some zombie, like some kind of like flu outbreak movie. I forgot the name of it. It was amazing. It was on Amazon. I'll think of it in a second. But I want to go into my top 5 politicians of all time. Maybe not the most progressive. And all of them made mistakes. But I am very interested in going to my top 5 politicians of all time. Just mine personally, right? So there's going to be some local folks on here. There's going to be some national folks that you might think about on here. And if I leave anybody out, because there are politicians that watch this show, they don't comment. I think they're afraid of getting ethered or flamed on this thing. Speaking of ether, did I not mention Jay-Z and Nas in my top 5? Woo, I'm tripping. So, top 5 politicians of all time. In no order, but I'm going to put this on my list. I got to start with my dog, Robert Smalls. He was a slave that turned into an elected official. You really can't beat that. Shirley Chisholm. Sister Chisholm ran for president in the early 70s. Like, I'm about to run for president as a black woman in the early 70s. If she ain't on the list, I really, Shirley Chisholm. If she ain't on your list, then you got a problem, man. You're problematic yourself. Y'all gonna trip out when I say this one right here. Top 5 politicians of all time. You know who makes my list? The one white man who makes my list. The one white man that y'all hear me talk shit about all the time. But it's Bernie. Bernie is actually, I'm gonna number him. Bernie is a solid number 3. It's Bernie. Bernie's on my top 5 list of all-time politicians just because he pissed off moderates the way he did. Y'all can't forget I worked on this campaign and I saw how all of them reacted to Bernie talking about helping y'all broke motherfuckers. They really, really, really did not want to help y'all broke motherfuckers. So Bernie makes the list. He definitely makes the list just because, he also created a movement, man. Like all of our talking points right now, you either pro Bernie talking points or anti Bernie talking points, but at some time you have to deal with Bernie talking points, right? I'd like to add an addendum to the list, and I'm going to say Cori Bush and AOC, but they haven't done enough work yet to be on top 5. It's kind of like putting Shaquille O'Neal on the top 50 NBA players of all time in his 3rd year. Like, a little off base. Could be a one-hit wonder. AOC's not, but I do want to give them those asterisk marks, right? So I got 2 more left. Right? I got to put Abe, man. Old Abe Lincoln on there. And yeah, I get it. There's a lot of nuance to talk about freeing the slaves, right? Whether it was just him being petty towards the South or whether it was a moral conversation or whatever. But at least freeing the slaves was done. Freeing enslaved people, like he owns that. He owns that one. You can say whatever you want to. He probably had a lot of progressive things that he did, but he owns that one, right? So I got one left. And I think about Thomas Jefferson was screwing slaves. No, bro, he can't get on that one. No, I'm straight. Somebody said, Tariq said AOC is the Kobe Bryant of politics. I know exactly what you mean by that. Like, she's great, but she doesn't get the props that she deserves. And also she, is like, yeah, she came behind Bernie and Kobe came behind Jordan. I get it. I see what you're saying. And you know, number one is a tie, so really my list is 6. But Jesse Jackson as a presidential candidate, he's way up there. Jesse Jackson as a presidential candidate is way up there for me. And the last one, I think, if I can be clear and concise about what I say, I'm going to say of all time, not even of all time, but she just makes my list. And that's Stacey. Ooh, I know people are mad at me for that one right there. But the reason why I say Stacey Abrams is because her vision, even though she was a state representative, she was a state representative registering a whole lot of black people. That her theory that she co-created with other people, but her theory changed America in one state, but one state actually changed America. So I'm gonna give Stacey her flowers. I'm gonna give Jesse his flowers while he's here also. Right? When you know about voter registration, and you know what, y'all talking like y'all know me, y'all seen me a couple of times. So if Stacey Abrams hired a brother like me to her campaign, she wasn't completely full of shit. Stacey's not full of shit at all, actually. A lot of people don't agree with her, and also, you know, there's a lot of relationships with moderate Democrats, but on the same token, like moderates even have to be careful about the amount of people that they register to vote. You know what I mean? Like, do we really want all these people knowing that we ain't gonna help them? Yeah, so that's what's up. That's my top. That's like my top 5 list of politicians of all time, right? And I happen to know 2 of them. I know Jesse and I know Stacey. So, and yeah, that's right. She's playing the game, but you got to play the game to get to where you need to be. Yeah, that's my top 5 list. So I'm about to take a break real quick. Oh, we're gonna get to Nina. Nina's a cultural leader. She gets an asterisk also. She definitely gets an asterisk. How she did them people on CNN the other week was just ridiculous. Like she just like slapped them around like y'all are literal bitches. Don't ever show up on the stage with me again. But with that being said, Trap Squad, Squirrel Gang, everybody in the chat room, y'all put up your top 5. Give me your favorite politician of all time. If I miss somebody, I'll come back and read it. You are watching Clickbaity Political Thirst Trap. Follow Wody Bobo, WHODIEBOBO on Instagram. That's what I'm doing tonight. We're back. And I hope some of y'all came up with some of the folks that you guys, when it comes down to favorite politicians. Notice I didn't say favorite black politicians. That's a different conversation, right? I do have some all-time black politicians, but that's for a later show this month. And I also want to discuss, I want to discuss that one with the whole team. You know what I mean? So what you talking about? Bust it. Y'all want me to say bust it so bad? All right, I said bust it. It's Black History Month. Bust it. Bust it, baby, drop it to the floor and bust it, bust it. But Zen Master, you ain't even funny. He said, what about Jim Clyburn? There was a day and age where Jim Clyburn was that dude, though. Y'all don't realize that. So I am a person that recognizes a couple of things. Even moderate black people have a better gauge of black people than some white progressives. So I'm very careful when I navigate that lane. Don't get me wrong. Moderate black folks have been problematic when it comes down to the black community in general, but I would be remiss if I didn't say that some of these same folks are the only reason why we have any resources in our community whatsoever, because they had to, play the game. Now I'm starting to realize it more than ever. Like, black politicians have to play the game. We didn't even know that you had a code switch until like 1970. We were just saying blackity black, black, blackity black, black, black. And then 1970, it was like, we'll let y'all in the house, but you can't come up here with that afro. When the brothers started cutting their afros off in the 70s, that's when the code switching began. All you got to do is cut off all that hair and talk a little bit more like me. Today in Black History Month, and I'm about to get out of here. I'm ending the show early because I like y'all, but on the same token, I also want to watch some I want to finish watching some shows on television, and I actually got some emails I have to send out. But guess who I'm talking about today in Black History Month? Y'all might like this one. Today in Black History Month, and I'm going to his Wikipedia page so y'all can just read this with me. Today on Black History Month, I am talking about one of the greatest comedians to ever live. One of the greatest men or people and black people in modern thought. Probably even dictates the way that you curse. Even white folks. His cadence on how he cursed and how he used curse words has been repeated by probably every single person who curses in America. Y'all know who I'm talking about. That's right. Today in Black History, I'm talking about Richard Pryor, Richard Franklin Lennis Thomas Pryor, born December 1st, 1940, and passed away on December 10th, 2005. He was a stand-up comedian, actor, and a writer, and a thought leader. In hindsight, we didn't think about it then. Man, Rich, I'm gonna give you my personal thoughts before I go through some things. Man, Rich was that album. Mama, I know you watching. Rich was that album that my mama had that she knew I listened to because I moved her albums around, but she never said nothing. When I was a kid in the 80s, like that Richard Pryor stand-up album was the album that everybody was listening to. And my mom, actually, I think my mama listened to it with me once, or she let me stay up. But for the most part, like the Ohio Players album, and if y'all look it up, there's an Ohio Players album that has a very like sensual middle, like you open up the album, is a three-way fold out, and it's like this beautiful black woman's body with like a cherry on it or some honey. And I think the album was called Honey. And I remember looking at that thing in the 80s, like, woo, that's what I'm talking about. But so my mom would actually like move that one. But when it came down to Rich, my mother she just never moved the album. Like, I think she knew I was listening to Richard Pryor. Sweet sticky thing. Thank you, Kai. So Rich, to me, more than just cursing, Rich, in maybe even a problematic way, Rich taught me sexuality. Rich taught me about white people. Rich taught me about dealing with other black people. Rich taught me about the workspace. Rich taught me about, and these are all messages that came throughout his comedy. Yes, we laughed and we kikied like crazy, but there was a deeper thing about the relationship between people that Rich did better than I think any other comedian. Rich talked about the relationship with people more than anything else. I mean, I think his funniest joke was, the punchline was, And then the police came, and they don't kill cars; they kill niggars. Rich was talking about police violence. Rich was talking about equity in communities, and Rich was pushing the boundaries of his comedy at a time where it was so faux pas to even say the curse words, right? And even his counterpart, Bill Cosby, who in hindsight, now we know who was right, but Bill Cosby was like, "Oh, you need to eat your Jello pudding pops and not cuss so much." And we'll do some more Bill later on because Bill is not completely evil. But yeah, even Bill had a problem with the flim flam flim. You remember that? It was a stand-up comedy that Bill Cosby came at Eddie Murphy and Richard Pryor about the cuss words. The irony is Bill was drugging people while he was talking noise about Eddie Murphy and Richard Pryor cussing. So today I want to give a shout out. I want to give a shout out to Rich, man, Richard Pryor, man. He was born in Peoria, Illinois. He did political satire. His career basically blasted off in 1963, and he was opening up for Bob Dylan and Woody Allen, Nina Simone. He was friends with Nina Simone, right? And as Wikipedia says, I'm on Wikipedia, but I'm going back and forth through sites. Wikipedia says he was even inspired by Bill Cosby. That's the irony. I'm gonna skip a lot of his work. I mean, we know the amazing part of his work, right? He signed a 5-year contract with Columbia Pictures in '83 for $40 million. That was big money in the '80s, right? But I want to go through his movies, man. Just real quick, go through his movies, and I'm gonna call this one tonight. But I think we need to just know the scope of Richard Pryor's body of work tonight on Clickbaity Political Thirst Trap. And if you know it, you know it. If you don't, you don't. You don't have to watch me all night long. You can actually go and do something else. I'm perfectly fine with that. But his filmography was crazy. The Busybody in '67, Wild in the Streets in '68, Uncle Tom's Fairy Tales in '69, Live and Smoking in '71. That was his own stand-up film. The Mac. He was slim in the Mac. Y'all need to go watch the Mac. Lady Sings the Blues. Rich was in a Lady Sings the Blues. Rich was in Lady Sings the Blues. He was in the Mac. Uptown Saturday Night, Silver Streak. One of my favorite movies of all time, Car Wash. He was like the rich guy in Car Wash that showed up in the back of the limousine. Which Way Is Up? The Wiz. Come on, man. He was with Mike them in The Wiz. Bustin' Loose with our sister Cicely Tyson, right? Stir Crazy. Superman 3. Y'all remember he was in Superman? Bro was in a DC film before DC. Well, DC's still making shitty films, so I have to be careful about that. Harlem Nights. I think one of the greatest movies that were ever made was Harlem Nights, and he was in that. Brewster's Millions, and his last movie was The Lost Highway. So that was Rich, and I want to give homage to Richard Pryor for tonight's Black History Month person that I'm going to talk about. And you still got your homework assignment. Thank you for watching Clickbaity Political Thirst Trap. I am Marcus Farrell. You can follow Mondale Robinson on all platforms. Mondale Robinson. You can follow Benjamin Dixon on Twitter, Instagram. You can follow me, Marcus Farrell, on Marcus for America on Twitter and Instagram. And you can follow me on YouTube. I have my own YouTube channel. I'd like some more subscribers. If y'all would go over there, Marcus Farrell on YouTube, you'll see my picture. I look pretty cool in that picture, so y'all check me out. But I look good all the time. Swag. I got swag. Anyway, go check out Wody Bobo. That's my dog. And since y'all asked so many questions about him, and we got a couple of special guests coming within the next couple of weeks. We're lining everybody up. We're doing some amazing things. We're going to get more consistent with our time period, but we are real live human beings. So to all the 300 people that are watching us on all the digital platforms, thank you very much for watching our show. I hope you guys can keep watching us, right? Hit that subscribe button. Send us a super chat. Go over to Patreon at Clickbaity Political Thirst Trap. Oh, I told you I was going to do something tonight. That's all right. We got something big for y'all this weekend. Go over to Patreon. Send super chats in right now. But make sure that you rock with us and share this post, like this post. We're trying to grow. Thanks a lot, everybody, man. You guys are dope. Trap Squad is dope. Real talk. And it's always super cool to hang out with y'all, answer y'all questions, and rock with y'all. Y'all are family. I consider y'all family. So with that,